All right, everyone. Welcome once again. It is Friday, and what does that mean, my friend Kurt Anderson? How are you today? It is manufacturing e-commerce
Oh,
success time.
God,
We're ready
dude.
to go.
Man, all right. I'm already speechless. I think we've already had like 5 drop the mic moments before
Yep.
we even went
Yep.
live, Damon.
Yep. Yep.
My goodness gracious. So, guys, happy Friday, happy Father's Day weekend, happy everything. We're midway through June. And
Yep.
man, Bob Feathers is in the house. Dave, our
Hi,
man,
Bob.
Chrysler's here.
Bob.
I'm
Dave.
feeling a little pressure here. Dave's in the house. So
Dave's.
Bob says happy
Oh, he
Friday,
was.
right?
Yeah, Dave was here early too. I'm pushing buttons here, doing this and not doing a good job of it.
All
But
right.
yeah.
Damon, it looks like you might be somewhere a little bit different. I'm not positive, but I think you might
Yeah.
have a setting. Is that correct?
I'm on the road, and it's a weird feeling for me. I don't leave the house often. But no.
House much? Yeah, same here, dude. So, all right, so you got out of the house, you're spending a little quality time with the wife. So thank you. Tell Lene we said thank you for that. You're hanging out with us hooligans, right? This little crazy stage that we've got going here. So man, we've got John Baglino, we've got John Burrow. Guys, happy Friday. Drop us a note, let us know you're there. Give a big shout out, hello to our 2 esteemed guests. Damon, let's just jump right into it. So man, I'm going over the border. Gail.
Let's do it.
GailNow is in the house. Gail, happy Friday. How are you, my friend?
I am fantabulous. It's a great day. Yeah, I'm doing great up here in Canada. Actually, compared to though Detroit, Michigan, I'm south of Detroit. We have to remember that. A lot of candidates.
Yes.
So there we go.
Perfect. How's the Canada thing? I have to ask, like the air climate, the wildfires. How's everything going in your?
Yeah, that's going to be some future stories of curious minds because there's a lot more to all of these stories than what we sometimes hear.
Whoa.
So we have to get curious, ask more questions about what we are sometimes hearing, reading about, and what may be also happening. But where I'm at, it's the air is pretty clear. I sort of worried when the media was saying, "Oh my God," in Windsor, shut your windows, don't leave your house. And I went out cycling that night and.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Perfect. All right, Gail, thank you for joining us today. And, the recovering journalist is in the house. So we might have some stories to uncover. We're going to take a deep dive into live streams. And boy, have we brought in an expert panel here.
Yeah.
Next, I'm going to slide over. We're going down to Washington, D.C. So Nicole Donnelly from DMG Digital. How are you, my friend? Happy Friday.
How are you? I am doing great. I am so excited because I get to see you in a couple days, Kurt. We're going to take on the Windy City, Chicago. And I can't wait. We're going to meet some of our amazing clients and people that we've worked with. And I just, there's nothing like seeing people in person, so I'm just can't wait to be there. And we're going to meet Chris Harrington. Wait to meet her. That's going to be super fun. So anyway, it's going to be great. I'm really excited about that. So I'm all fired up. And I'm excited to be here because this topic is like one of my favorite topics. So it's going to be great.
This is all right, very juicy stuff. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be live streaming in Chicago Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we're hitting different manufacturers in the wonderful state of Illinois in Chicagoland, working with IMEC, the Illinois MEP. So Nicole and I are super excited. Look for that. But let's go here, Damon Pastuca. You know what, dude? I want to kick things off with you. Okay. I think you've done a live stream or two, if I'm not mistaken. Is that like?
Yes. This is my second.
This is your second live stream that you've done. Probably half the crowd here. Again, welcome to the program. We got the chat box is already on fire.
Yeah.
Well, Damon, kick things off. What inspired you to start live streaming? What inspired you to start live streaming?
Someone told me that I should do it, and I was like, "You're crazy."
Somebody dared you, right? Who was it?
Just almost dared me. I said, "Look at me. You don't want me
on."
You don't want me." No, I talked to Mike O'Connor, like in 2019, and Jacob Warren. They said, "Listen, Jacob said it even before that. He said, you need to go on video, dude. Just hang out and talk with people." I was like, "What do you mean?" That's just. I was just totally foreign to me. But yeah, and I started doing it and honestly, I got lucky in some respects, because when COVID hit, everybody was kind of stuck inside, right, for a while. And we started doing it and learning about it. And like today, we're going to be talking about growing your brand with LinkedIn live streaming. And it's been very beneficial to be able to meet so many incredible people. I mean, I think that's me. I never realized how many cool people I was going to meet by live stream. And Kurt, you and I, how many just fantastic people, like on the screen here, just on the screen, in the chat. Right. I mean, so many fantastic people that you meet, and the things that you learn that you never would have learned before. Right. It's just been such a gift. It's such a gift to be able to do it. But that's originally someone suggested I do it, and I said, "Oh, you're crazy," and then they convinced me to do it.
Right. So now, several hundred, episodes later, you're deep in it. Gail, let's slide over to you, my friend. You've been doing GailNow. We're signing up.
Yeah.
We're suiting up, and then you're just flat out showing up. Man, just absolutely love that. Gail, what's live streaming meant for you? I know we're going to take a deep dive. You put out a fantastic post, and we're going to hit some of those points through the conversation. But just kind of share with the folks, like, what's live stream? What inspired you to take the leap? What's it done for you, your brand, your business? Let's go there for a minute.
Well, like Damon said, I mean, during the pandemic there was an opportunity, number one. And number two, because I do talk about sign up, suit up, and show up, what better way to show up than using video? And then the live part, what I like about it as a recovering journalist too, is that it really fit into my personality, to my strengths. I mean, I can think quickly. I mean, I often do like moderating panels, and one of the first things that people got back to me, they're like, wow, you can just like think on the spot, ask questions. And that's sort of a strength for me for live stream, because I don't like one of the things when I was a journalist that I loved doing the most was the interviews. I love going out, asking questions, and I would have some questions, but one of the strengths, again, is being able to go down a different road. If your guest is going somewhere, instead of saying, okay, on to question 4 now, and meanwhile, everybody's listening.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I want to know more, right? So kind of go with the flow. So for me, live, and the other thing that I love about live streaming is that, I often tell people ahead of time, hey, this is, no dress rehearsal. We're going, this is we're not editing. We're going to now sometimes live, but and we'll get to that later, how I use live streams later. But it's really about, and I love living in the moment, the power of in the moment. And there's a different energy when you're talking to people live. And I found even when I do pre-recorded versus live, I love live the best. There's that, that excitement just before, oh my God. And I still get that, my heart's racing before I hit live button. And then I'm like, oh, so that's why I love live. And it's also helped me with clients to being able to ask questions and interview them. And they're more comfortable than just shooting a video.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Absolutely love that. Nicole, let's slide over to you. What has live done for you, meant to you? What's your live stream journey look like?
Oh my gosh, that is that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
I will say live stream has changed, just catapulted my business. I can honestly say today that my business grew 80% last year. And this year and I will say that over 50% of our business I can attribute to a live stream where the client saw me on a live stream or, directly comes from live stream. And as a small business, that's huge, right? And the great thing about it is that live stream is so affordable. It cost me nothing, literally nothing but my time to go on a live stream event. So, for one, it's just been great from a business development perspective. But to Damon's point, just even more important than that is just the relationships that I've developed because of live stream, and just the relationship I've had with you, Kurt, and you, Damon, and you, Gail, and all of the people that I've met through this show and all of the episodes and shows that I've been on has just been, to me, the most valuable part of this platform is just what I've been able to learn from so many people. And I think the first live stream event I did with you and Damon was a year and a half ago. my gosh. And I think Kurt and I were watching it back the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, it feels like ages ago. It felt like ages ago. So much has changed. But I think that when you go on a live stream event, and I can't tell you how many people we've had on the show that were terrified to come on and just utterly terrified, fierce introverts, they come on and afterwards they've just gained this whole new sense of confidence and they just love it. I mean, just last week we had the show with my colleague Amy, who came on to talk about Indigenous pets. And she is one of the fiercest introverts that I know. Wonderful, amazing, lady. But she is such a fierce introvert and she just blossomed right on screen. And afterwards she was just raving about what a great experience it was. So I just can't say enough about, how great it's been for me personally, professionally. And my deep gratitude to this wonderful medium.
Well, and I think from your guys' perspective, Gail and Nicole, do you think that the live streaming allows you to meet people that you wouldn't normally get to meet?
Yeah, I know I've connected with people as well going to other people's live streaming events. So that's really important too. It's not only, it's like that engagement. So I've met people, well, a good example, Jim Vinosky, who I heard on your show. And I just, you reminded me of that, Kurt, because I was like, oh, I met him through LinkedIn, but it was through your show. He was on, and anyways, I've since had him on my show. I'm going on his show. We're actually talking about, he might even be tuning in today. And so I've met Harry Moser, who does, a lot of the, from a reshoring. And that was all because I saw him on a live event and I commented, I followed up. And then, so when I went to go invite him as a guest, now this again goes back to my journalism roots, is that, I mean, I've asked a lot of people and sometimes they say yes, sometimes I'm surprised, but sometimes I don't hear back, but that's okay. I don't give up. I'll just circle back later. And so, yeah, it's Mitch Jackson has been another guest of mine who I also met previously on another networking. So anybody that knows me knows that networking is a foundation of everything I do, because it is like, it fans out like that web, like, and so, yeah.
So, you know what, Gail, and let's just hit that for a second, because you are the networking queen. Of course, like we've got Dan Bigger in the audience here. So Dan's the networking king if you're the networking queen. But just like, can you talk about like how important that's been for your business on networking just as a whole, and then just tying it in with the live streams?
Yeah, networking for me is by far the best way to build your business. And it's not networking only to get business. So I will say one of the things that I do, and I guess it's to me, it's natural, because I even travel alone. And some of the reasons I like to travel alone is because I know I'm going to meet more people than when I travel with a friend, right? So it is about, starting those conversations. And there's been so many times that I don't think it's work related and it becomes work related. So here's one quick story. Yesterday, I live streamed an interview with a former high school teacher. He's the reason I got into journalism, because he started this journalism class. He's now 93. And I just found out he had a manufacturing background. So we talked about that. And I just posted a clip because he talking about things coming full circle. He was one of the early, started on co-ops, and he told these great stories about students that were in co-ops. So yeah, you never know where conversations will go as well. So yeah, it's keep on talking to people, and it opens up amazing doors.
Yeah. And hey, again, shout out to everybody here. So we've got Dr. Aaron, Victor, Ingers here today. Happy Friday, Ingers, Sarah, Victor, Dan Bigger, Karen's here. Guys, again, thank you. Drop us a note that you're here. If you're not already connected with folks on the stage, boy, please do connect with Nicole Donnelly, connect with Gail Robertson, connect with Damon Pistolka. I'd love to connect with you as well. Nicole, let's go here. You've started a podcast. Let's go here, guys. So for this, for the panel, I'll start with Nicole. But okay, we could do, Damon, we've done tons of webinars, right? We've got into live streams. Nicole, you've started a podcast. So all these are different mediums of like how to get that message out there, build your brand. Why don't you talk about like, podcasting compared to live streaming, and then we'll dig a little bit into like webinars. Start with
yes. Yes, I think it's really important for folks to know the differences between them. They're all very great, mediums in their own specific way. But, understanding some of those nuances, I think can help you decide what's going to be the right medium for you to use for your business or personally, and just understanding going into it. But, podcasting, I think one of the great things about it is it's a lot more produced, if you will. And in some ways it can be a little bit more intimate. So you don't have an audience watching you. You're having like this one-to-one conversation. But some of the disadvantages of podcasting, I think, is you miss out on that engagement that you get from having a live audience. And you miss out on the ability to like really hype it up beforehand. You can really promote the live stream. And the advantage of the live stream too, is you can repurpose that into a podcast, right? So after the fact, you can repackage it as a podcast. So not only is it a live event that you can promote and you get optics on, but you can also like repurpose it into a podcast later down the line. And, something I think that's really interesting is authenticity is becoming so much more important for buyers today. 90% of buyers today, of shoppers, they want to buy from a brand who's authentic, right? 90% want authenticity in their brand. What does that mean? They're not looking for somebody who's like super polished and perfect. They're looking for that organic, experience. They're looking to see Kurt's gaffes on screen. They're looking to see, they want to have that like organic experience. And live streaming, as much as I love podcasting, and I think it's I've obviously chosen to use that for my, for communicating, but live streaming is really the most authentic platform that you could use as a brand. And I think, with AI and everything that's happening with AI, it's just so important right now for brands to find opportunities to show up authentically. And live streaming, in my opinion, is the ultimate, most affordable way to do that. It's much cheaper. That's another point. It's much cheaper to live stream than it is to podcast. So
right.
Anyway, that's what
way to be authentic. And then somebody said hey, Peter's here today. Peter says, hey, where did 90% come from? And then the question is how about the 10% that don't want to be authentic?
So I will tell you the 90% comes from a study by Stackla. I knew someone was going to ask that.
Nice.
Stackla. So I promise I didn't make that one up.
All right. So thank you, Nicole. Jim, thank you for being here today. Peter. And then Jim dropped a note here. Turn your live stream into a podcast by using the script. So, hey, great hack. Jim, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Happy Friday. Great question. Damon, you've done, so you do Faces of Business on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Many folks here have been guests on your show or have caught your show. So you're doing live stream. You've done tons of webinars. We were doing live workshops together a couple of weeks ago. So you've kind of done the whole gamut. You're converting your Faces of Business into a podcast. What are your take on like the different opportunities for delivering these messages?
Well, I think I'll back up. My mind got racing because I think I like live streams because I want to be authentic. And I think it's so much more fun for us, the guests, and everyone else, right? I've never been the person, and you've seen enough. We're not gonna make the camera, right? We're not gonna, because I think real life is real life, and we need to work in real life. Right. I can appreciate the podcasts that are highly produced and the videos that are highly produced, but at the end of the day, I think people want authentic. And we've said it many times here today, and you hear it every time. And I don't think there's a better way to do that than be with a live stream. And turning the Faces of Business into a podcast is pretty simple. I mean, we add a little bit of audio at the beginning, and that's it. Right. There's no fancy. I mean, we're not cutting out, ums and ahs and whatever spaces. There's none of that stuff because we just want to be authentic. And it's not going to be a top 10 podcast because doesn't have all the fanfare and things, but you connect with the right people, because I get people when people talk to you after doing live streaming and podcasting for a while, it's scary almost, because the people that you really want to talk with are going to have listened and talked to you a long time and understand you. So.
Right. Absolutely. All right, perfect. Gail, let's go here. So you dropped a great post this morning. You gave some three tips or strategies of why and how to use live stream, for your business. First one was foster business growth. Okay. So say there's folks out there like, hey, man, I came to this because I want to learn about, we're live streaming about live streaming. How about that? Is that like
very meta?
That's kind of like bizarro, but anyway, all right. So we're live streaming about live streaming, but you talked about fostering business growth. Let's hit that first one right there. That first point for folks that are considering this. What advice, tips? Let's go there.
Number one, I always say is, why do you want to do anything? Why do you want to be on LinkedIn? Why do you want to be on Twitter? Because a lot of times, like, I love Twitter, but that's my reason that I use it. I use TikTok, but I use TikTok in a very special way that's just like fun. I don't invest a lot of time, but I know people watch it. But because of the work I do, I'm in a lot of different platforms. But when I'm working with a client, they also say, oh, we need to be on TikTok because they read some article, they need to be on TikTok. So I would say for anybody listening, maybe live streaming's for you, but maybe it's not, because there's a finite number of hours in the day. And a great line I once heard someone said, it's about priority management, not even time management. So you have to prioritize, where's your time? What are you going to, isn't that a great one? I use that a lot now because everybody says time management, but so what is your priority? And so for your business growth, it really has to do with, now Nicole does a great job, has stats, and she's able to correlate like driving business. For me, it's really more about brand developing, like getting my name out there for whether it's speaking or in manufacturing. It gives some credibility to what I'm doing. And it also opens doors for me to talk to people. But I would say for anybody listening today, like really look at why you want to do live streaming. And, one size fits all. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as that. So live streaming may not be for everyone. And I often spend time with people first, digging into their why and asking those questions and deciding, is this where you want to, like, maybe they just need to start first on getting their LinkedIn together and getting out there. So sometimes if you start, to do too much, and then on the other hand, I'm going to say this, sometimes you do have to just start. So, and that's where a strategist can come in and help decide or help you decide.
You do have to just start. I like that because
multiple mic drops right there on Gail.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, like we might just take a moment to just like savor a little bit of that. So, priority management. Apparently, maybe you were hanging out with Dave Chrysler, Mr. Man.
Yeah.
Dave rings in my head like every day, being efficient with my time. But I want to, Damon, let's grab a few comments here. So, hey, Mary, thank you for joining us. I love this. I have two Zoomer sons. They demand authenticity. They are suspicious of polish and high production. Man, they'll resonate with us.
And then the one from Peter Smith after Jim does this. Yeah, you can be. This, I will disagree with Peter on this one, because if you do enough live streaming, your true self comes out. I don't think you can hide it, right? Maybe you can. Maybe you're really good at it. But
Damon, I hate to so I agree with Peter. You can be inauthentic. So I have a confession. I'm making a confession right here in front of everybody, all my friends right here. I'm not really bald. I'm like, it's all fake. I'm not really bald. I've been faking it. I just wanted to make that confession right here to everybody. Nicole, I'm just letting people know. So anyway, talk about being inauthentic. I'm just teasing. So, all right. Priorities are huge. So guys, keep the comments coming. We're here to have that authentic conversation. We don't have to agree on everything.
Inger has a good one here too. This is another thing, we haven't said it yet, but consistency in live streaming is just like anything with podcasting, right?
Yeah.
If you aren't doing it, there needs to be a cadence. People need to know if you're going to do it once a month on the second Tuesday, do it. It's just like anything. You got to do it consistently. And I think that's where I see people over time dropping off, right? Is they'll live stream or they'll podcast for 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and then they're done because they don't get the results they want. And none of this stuff is going to come quickly. I mean, Kurt, we've got a few comments here today, and how many times did you and I go and we have 4 comments? 0 comments. How many years? It was a long time. We did
get
that.
my mom to come on. She dropped some comments.
Yeah. I pay my kids.
Thank God for mom.
Fake profile or whatever, But it was just like it just takes the consistency is so important.
It does. It takes a consistency. So let's go, Nicole. Let's go here. So I don't know if everybody caught it. So again, guys, thank you for joining us today. Happy Friday. We've got Gail Robertson here. We've got Nicole Donnelly, and Gail dropped a fantastic post. Totally, man. Encourage you guys. Invite you guys. Connect with these two amazing, incredible, wonderful ladies. Thank us later. Gail dropped a great post this morning. So I'm going to pose one of her comments: building a strong brand presence. Nicole, you're great on branding. You're working with your clients on branding. You did a whole rebrand with your company, which I think is just phenomenal. So we'll talk about like what live streaming, what that can do for folks that are like, hey, you know what? I'm considering going this live stream route. Let's go there. Talk about what can the branding do for someone that's considering going this route?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think that we are in the middle of a massive disruption right now with generative AI. Massive, that we fully don't realize how this is going to impact us. But one thing's for sure is we're already seeing just an incredible proliferation of AI generated content. And the nature of AI, these large learning models that have been built, is it's intended to basically be derivative content. That's the whole, it's pulling, parsing, taking from whatever information that already exists and using this algorithm to predict what the next word in a sentence is going to be. So by design, these are based on creating something new from something that already exists. And so that's only going to increase over time. We know that buyers have just lacked so much trust today, more than ever before in companies. It's gone down significantly ever since, social media came into play. And now with AI and generative AI, that is only going to increase. It's going to become harder and harder for brands to build trust with buyers because of that authenticity. And the more people are looking for it, and trust goes down. And so I think from a branding perspective, the opportunity for companies of all sizes is to get on mediums like this, where you put your leadership in front of a microphone and you just let them share what they know, their experience, the highs and the lows, the goods and the bads, the ugly, all of it. Like, let them open up the kimono and share. And that is what people want. That's what they're craving. That's what's going to build trust with buyers, is when they can see the real people behind the brand. And those people really are going to show up in that way. So, and I think there's a lot of ways that companies can do this. We talked about, you don't even have to produce your own live stream show. Like, for example, in my case, what did I do? I first knew I wanted to very intentionally meet and connect with people in the manufacturing industry because I wanted to build relationships and build my business there. That was my why. So what did I do? I started engaging with those people on LinkedIn, started commenting, liking, sharing my experience, and immediately started connecting one-on-one with people offline. That's how I got introduced to Kurt. And then what happens next? I get invited to come on his show. He's a micro influencer in this industry, right? So you want to find the micro influencer that's in your industry who already has a platform. And then you go be a guest on that show. And that's how you start. You don't have to start by producing your own show. You can start small by just being a guest on someone else's show and start to get the optics that way, start to gain the confidence, start to really increase your exposure to, people within that network. And that's really, I think, a really affordable, it's just time, a really affordable way for brands who are just getting started to try to get and increase their brand awareness. And there's lots of things that you can talk about on a live stream, product launches, you've just you've undergone a new digital transformation, an e-commerce build, right? Or maybe there's an acquisition that's happened, or
new employees
that you want to launch,
customers, right?
So great for
awesome
PR
project.
for all of those things. Customer testimonials, all of that. So there's just so much opportunity, and live streaming has just increased so much. Like, we're seeing 2% year over year. More and more people are wanting to see and be part of live stream. So it's only going to increase, I think. Whew. Okay.
That was, hey.
Another bunch of mic drops in that.
Was it Grandma or Aunt Betty? Was it Aunt?
Aunt Barb. You're so close. Aunt Barb. Someday you're going to get it. It was her strawberry rhubarb pie.
That was like Aunt Barb's strawberry rhubarb pie right there, Nicole. That was just so good. But hey, again, guys, we're coming over to the top of the hour. We've got Jan. Thank you for joining us today. Everything takes time. I like this comment here. People also need to realize consistency makes it easier. Practice, 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 right? And it ends up taking less time per episode. Yes, this makes sense. I think Dave Chrysler dropped another bombshell. People have always, in my opinion, people buy from people, right? Yeah. We see like, hey, it's B2C, B2B, da-da-da. And, Damon, we hear it all the time. It's H to H. It's human to human. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if there's any other, hey, Whitney Houston's here today. So Whitney.
I saw Whitney was here today.
So happy Friday, guys. Again, drop these comments in the chat box. We'd love to keep this conversation going. If you have any questions for these guys, please, great time to ask these questions. Gail, I want to come back at you. You had, again, wonderful post. You put build strong brand presence. Mm-hmm. I'm throwing the same question at you.
Well, again, everything we do is about our brand, which is about what Dave said. It's about who we are, right? So what's interesting, I would usually recommend to people, they go with, like on a lot of platforms with their name. And the reason I've gone with GailNow is that's become my brand. So when I walk into events now, people introduce, they go, oh, GailNow is here. So my son's friends call me that. So I've embraced it now. Awesome. That's like my name, GailNow. And my son likes to say, they tease me, call me GailNow1 because Instagram, anyway, so it's this joke the kids have, right? But I did want to address something because I think when we're talking about, I agree about consistency. And sometimes I think for me right now, I am being more inconsistently consistent or consistently inconsistent because I'm doing some testing as well. So instead of locking in, I did have a regular show. My show up with GailNow was every Wednesday, right? Well, now what I'm doing is I'm more doing some of my interviews according to my guest schedules. And this had to do with some other things that were on my plate. So instead of kind of saying, oh, well, I can't do it every week, I now do it. I adjusted it. And I'm also using YouTube to a greater degree. So I'm doing it live. And while I don't have the same engagement in the comments, I'm still getting great content that I then will use those video clips from the live. So for people out there, like, kind of find your way. And I do want to say another mic drop moment, because this is from someone said this today on another call, was Russ John said, experiments become experience.
Yep. I love that. So good.
Okay. And the other day I was doing a live stream, and I don't know if we want to talk about products, because I use StreamYard. And there's different things you can use. I'm going to be testing out eCam next because I read about that. So I might try that. But I was using StreamYard and I wanted to live stream to Facebook, which I've never done before. So I thought, well, I'm going to try it. So I tried it. Well, that got me down a rabbit hole. And I couldn't find posts on Facebook. I'm not a big, and it was my personal profile because I was interviewing a former high school teacher, right? So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it on Facebook. Anyways, I asked Jim Fuse, who was I think he was here, who is also, I learned so much from him. He was one of the first people that really helped with the show I was doing, and found out finally I just deleted it because it was such a mess, and Facebook and live streaming from StreamYard just seemed, it was getting messy. So that was, now I know I don't want to do that because of some of the changes in Facebook. And so just for people to know, but no one, try some things. I've tried many things that didn't work. And I'm so glad of those things that I did, because you learn. And that's why I always say with live stream, hey, no dress rehearsal. Let's just go and I did in my show yesterday. I thought I was talking about these photos I was putting up, except I wasn't changing the photo on the screen, but I went back and said, okay, oops, that's a oops. But now I know to make sure I share the right photo screen. So you wouldn't know the photo I shared. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't.
And I'll bet you the people watching that just loved that oops, honestly. They probably felt, because it's so relatable, like.
I have got the most, sometimes when you drop the ball or make a mistake, it can become funny if you embrace it. And I learned that from doing keynote speaking, is that if something happens, don't pretend it didn't happen. Just like, You know, I had a bit of a wardrobe fail during a speak.
Oh, no.
And I just talked about it, and it broke. It was amazing. It changed the whole energy. Not that kind of wardrobe fail.
Oh, I hope it wasn't like Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake style wardrobe.
This is a family show, Gail. We can't go there today, right?
I'll leave a little curiosity gap about that.
Yeah. But that's part of it, though. I think that's the part of it that people enjoy. And just think about this: how many people watch reality TV?
Right. I mean, my daughters watch people play Minecraft, and I'm like, what? I don't, you know?
Yeah, like
exactly.
So hey, I want to pull up a couple comments here real quick. So Jan, I'm doing the On podcast, starting my message about recovery from a stroke. Hey, we just did an episode on this just a few weeks ago with Katie McDermott and Nicole. You came into
it's a great episode.
Gary, my buddy in Rochester, my mother used to make strawberry rhubarb pie.
Hey, Spirit Turtle, great to see you.
Inger says heart to heart, you know. So anyway, great comments here.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Okay, so we've got a lot more to cover. I don't even know how we're doing on time. We're doing good. All right.
Yeah, we're doing
okay. Good. Let's keep it going. Nicole, we had great comments here from Gail. Gail, I'm totally just blatantly plagiarizing, stealing your post, and we're gonna go there. Right?
Awesome.
But Nicole, all right, you shared earlier, like, you know, boy, you've been very blessed, very fortunate. Business is in growth mode. And like I've watched it firsthand where like you come on a live stream and then we've taken these live streams, we share them with new prospects, with new clients. Yeah. We've invited them on the live streams. Just talk about like how it's worked for you for business growth or building those relationships on your end.
Oh, I'll give you an example. I think this is a cool example. So I have a partner who is he's just awesome. I've loved working with him. And he said, hey, Nicole, I've got this person I want to talk to you about. I think this would be a really great business opportunity for you. So I meet with this woman, amazing woman. And we had a great conversation. And I said, okay, well, let's follow up. Let's have a follow-up call. Let's go into more detail. It was a discovery call. Let's have a follow-up call. And I want to introduce you to my business partner, Kurt Anderson. And she says, okay, sounds great. So we scheduled this follow-up call and we get on the call. And no joke, she said, oh, I watched you both on your LinkedIn live show.
That like, and real quick. So Damon, we did our SEO made simple for manufacturers. And I'm sorry, and we'll talk about this in a minute. Like we're using SEO strategies in our headlines with our lives. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Damon, so the three of us geeked out about SEO. We had Nicole on Monday. This call was on Thursday, 3 days later. Nicole, tell Damon and Gail.
So first of all, we never told her about the show. We didn't say anything to her. I never said to her, oh, check us out. We're going to be on this show. Right. Nothing. All I did was say, I'd love to introduce you to my business partner, Kurt Anderson, and scheduled the meeting. Well, she on her own volition, and this just confirms how much buyers today are doing their homework online and researching you, and you don't even know it. Because we got on that call on Friday and she's like, oh, I saw you on the show and you were talking about spirit animals and I'm a turtle, too. And she had seen the show and it's like she already knew us. She already knew Kurt. And then not only that, she had ChatGPT'd Kurt and said, and I was trying to find out what an e-commerce evangelist is. And so I typed into ChatGPT, what is an e-commerce evangelist? And boom, who comes up? Kurt Anderson. And it was like everything is web, So anyway, so that is just like a perfect example. You just don't know who's lurking, who's watching, who's seeing you. And it's just a great opportunity to, again, get your authentic voice out there, your brand voice in a great way. And she is a wonderful customer. We love working with her. She at the end of that call, she said, I've decided I want to work with you. Tell me which package I should use. Like she literally had so much trust that she told us, so anyway, so I think it just, to me, the proof is in the pudding. Like everything I've experienced just shows that this can be a really powerful way to build trust with people. And I'll look at
hey,
so that's just one example. I don't know.
Instead of moments of silence, we might have moments of holy cousers from now on.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. You just gave me a new. All right.
Nicole, that is such a great. I'm going to pull that clip, I think, because I say this all the time that people are searching you. People are finding it. Like Okay, I said to people, do you go search? And I don't know, do they think they're the only people like to do it? I go, like, I don't know. It's so funny. People think that they're in this like place that no one is searching about me, but I'm searching about everybody else. And it's like, of course you go search. My friends often, when it comes to even if they're meeting someone or dating someone new, they're always like, hey, they call me first, say, hey, what can you find out?
Yeah.
And then I do the deep dives. That's a little side service I do. Anybody. But one thing that I got connected in, and I want to do a shout out to the Manufacturing Champions group, because I was tapped by Jake Hall. And I remember at the time I looked around, it was like, me? Like they invited me, and it's been really life-changing to meet amazing people and be, and I think I'm only one of, there's a couple of Canadians. It's, it's a very US focused group, but it was because I was showing up on LinkedIn and I was commenting and participating in the conversation. So that's another thing, just like engaging you don't have to have your own live stream. You can go engage. Yep. Look at the people, some of the people commenting here. And I've found people to bring on my show through comments and, people that get my attention. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just,
I know.
Drop the mic, Gail. Just all the savor the flavors.
They and what was the line? They think that people aren't Googling them.
Yeah.
That was like Chris Harrington, right? David, Nicole, remember that one? Like, people don't want to call you about the O-ring.
Yeah.
Gail,
they just want to buy it and be done.
All-time great quote right there. Man, they're thinking that they're not Googling them. So, all right, Gail, let's go here. So amplify. So, all right, your 3 points today were: build a strong brand presence, foster business growth, amplify your networking opportunities. You had a great, you just mentioned, I'd love to go there for a minute. Like, you guys had the mastermind group, our mutual friend, Jeff Long, Chris Lukey, Jake Hall, Megan was there. I mean, like, it was a powerhouse group of folks. Talk about like how that all came to life through LinkedIn and like live streaming. Just let's go there. Share that with everybody, please.
Well, it was from, like I said, showing up. I mean, you have to show up, even if you think you're not ready, even if you think you're not, looking right, you don't have the right background. I mean, I've had a few different backgrounds, but I mean, this was a pop-up board that I used at a trade show. And then I decided, hey, I'm going to use it in my background now. Right. So it really is, you have to step out. And I often hear people go, well, I don't like it. I don't want to do it, and I've heard everything, but it's like in everything in life, like, do you want to move forward? So I often say to people, if they don't want to do social, I go, so do you have more business than you can handle?
Yeah.
And if that answer isn't no, then like in 2023 and beyond, I don't know how you can, unless you have a very niche, maybe boutique type local business that you're handing out flyers. And I mean, there are places like that, right?
Sure.
But if you want to actually open more doors and have more business come your way, and just learn new things.
Yes.
There's so many opportunities. So yeah, the Manufacturing Champions has been, like, I still some days go, how did I ever get in this group?
Like, you pinch yourself. You're like,
I do.
You're definitely with the cool kids there, right?
One last thing that's also, I'm involved with PT Expo, Plastic Technology Expo, because I work in mold making, work in the world of plastics. And the same thing, they invited me a couple of years ago to be part of the Circle of Champions to help them promote the show. And it was a really brilliant idea what they did, because they wanted people that were active on social to come out. And at first I thought they meant like, because I was doing work with a client, I think, oh, do you mean as the marketing for this client? They go, no, GailNow, we want you. And that also is something that I tell other people, you can become a manufacturing champion, a manufacturing whatever, by showing up.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. So, hey, Jan says, I Google myself to see what's out there. Jan, great advice. Gail, are you sitting down, Gail? Are you ready for this comment? You ready?
There you go.
There he is.
Yeah. Oh, Jim. Hi, Jim.
Awesome.
If you wait till you're completely ready, you'll never start. And I've used this many times on the program. Damon, I think it was Reed Hoffman from LinkedIn, says if you're not embarrassed by your first go around, you waited too long.
Yeah.
And trust me, Damon, I make what's the word you just used, Nicole? My gaffes, right? So my gaffes, my goofs, my mess ups, I make.
Yeah.
They're endearing.
They're my MO, right? They're my MO. Damon, we were just up in Alaska doing live streams, and probably every day we do something a little awkward. It's just too big.
But it was fun. I mean, that's a perfect example, though. They were horrible. I mean, it was like this, and like this. And
we were talking like how's the back of my head like, So,
but we were talking with real people about real stuff, and that's the thing that's fun about live streaming. I mean, you can talk about people that are passionate about what they're doing in real life stuff, man. It's so cool.
And the thing is, entrepreneurship is lonely, man. It is a lonely business. And so the thing is, Damon, we were doing workshops at the Alaska MEP. We had a room full of entrepreneurs, and I'm like, we're going to do a live stream, guys. We're going to be over here. We're not going to face anybody. We're going to totally respect your privacy. If you guys want to come up, I would love for you guys to come up and do an interview with us. Almost every person, as a matter of fact, the one, Nicole, we're talking about painful introverts. This one client, Candy, total painful introvert. I'm like, man, I don't want to embarrass Candy. Man, she was knocking people over, to get up there on stage. And people just love to just have a moment to talk about themselves. They want a bit of recognition. So if nothing else, man, shine a bright light on your clients, your customers, collaborate. Damon and I aren't the two smartest guys in the room, but boy, we certainly feel smart when we're hanging out with just amazing brilliance and just soaking it in with everybody. Nicole, I know we need to probably start thinking about winding down at some point in time.
Oh man, I just want to keep going.
Let's do this all day. Nicole, let's go. All right, clients. We've been bringing on clients from IMEC. We had Psycho. We were on site. We're going to be on site in Chicago next week. Talk about what you've seen, how Mike on Monday. What's today? Friday. We interviewed Mike on Monday. Talk about what you've seen with clients coming on and how they've just really they're glowing. Talking about their businesses. We had Alan, the hot sauce manufacturer, last week. Just what are some experiences that you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really great. So, our company, we have what's called a content engine. And so we help these small businesses just create their marketing foundation and just start to create ongoing regular content that answers their buyers' questions so that it can build trust. And so we do that through blogging, through video clips, and we do a lot of what's called subject matter expert interviews. And those are typically privately recorded. We private record those interviews, and then you waterfall the content from there. We splice it up, get it out on social media, turn it into blog posts. And what I realized probably maybe I don't know, several months ago, I don't remember, is the magic of these subject matter expert interviews is in the full interview itself, not in these little clips that we are and turning it into a blog post. There's all value in that. But the true magic is the conversation that we're having where we get these experts on who know they've been in their industry for sometimes decades, and they know so much. And I get on these subject matter expert interviews and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is mind blowing what these people know. And now we've got to turn it into a blog post and cut it up into these little clips. I'm like, I just want to share the whole stinking thing with the world. It's so powerful. And so we started to just ask them, hey, what if we were to make these private subject matter expert interviews live? We just do a live event, and you can, we already know, we have a content calendar, all planned out strategy for 6 months a year of what we're going to say. What if we just take that topic and we're going to broadcast it on a live show? And it's, they're responding, they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about it live. And it's been a really great opportunity for them for us to experiment with this as an option. And we're seeing they love it. It's been great. They build confidence. They get to share their product and, their thought leadership and, all the great stuff, all the great things. So I think it's just been, it's a really another great way for them to brand them, get their personal brand out there and their brand of their company. And I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to stop.
No, that's not. Hey, that was fantastic. And hey, Damon, we got our buddy Mark Hills there. Man, dude, Mark, Happy Father's Day to you, my friend. Great father, amazing guy. He's out in Chicagoland. So, Mark, happy Friday, happy Father's Day to you. But Dave, all right, let's start winding down. And so, my last question that I want to ask, I probably have like 5 more, but last question I want to ask you guys as we go around. I won't say like who's the top guest, because like I won't ask that, right? But Damon, Nicole and I were talking earlier this week of like not necessarily the best guest, because every single one of them is the best guest.
Yeah.
Right? But talk about like how have these guests changed you? How have they changed your lives? Whether, it was like maybe, we landed a big guest all the way down to like, geez, didn't expect a ton, and you're just blown away by anybody that comes on the stage. But just share a little bit of like what it's done, how it's changed your life, just in interviewing these hundreds of people that you've had the good fortune of interviewing.
I don't even know how to describe it. I really don't. I mean, because it's just like, it's like this when people talk about gratitude and all these, some of these things, I'm just so grateful to be able to be able to talk to people and learn from them and then build relationships with them. I mean, I never knew this was possible like this. And once you start meeting these awesome people, there's so many awesome people to meet. All you want to do is meet more of them. And the people around you are going to think you're absolutely freaking insane because you do it, and you do it so much. And if I could, and this for me, I would do this 5 days a week. I would do it from my box on the corner if I had to, because there's so many cool people to meet and learn from. And just Gail, curious, right? How does it feed your curiosity to talk to somebody that good at something nothing about and learn about it? Oh my goodness. It's such a blessing.
All right, let's take that strawberry rhubarb pie right there, man. That was fantastic. And that's the thing, is like just the opportunity to learn, the opportunity to network, the opportunity to just grow as a person, talk about topics that maybe you didn't know anything about, talk about people that don't look like you, talk to people that, had a different upbringing, different walk of life, whatever it might be. Gail, let's go there for you. What have, some of the conversations, the mind-blowing conversations, these relationships, we always talk about like the emotional side, your curiosity, your journal, like this ties in perfectly with your journalism hat. What's it meant and done for you on that side of things?
Well, I am all about transferable skills and curiosity and showing up. Those are like 3 things I really strongly believe in. And because of the work I've been doing with my show, and when I had Show Up with GailNow, I interviewed people that were showing up, and sometimes in manufacturing, but sometimes outside manufacturing. And how could that help people in manufacturing? Right now, my current show is Curious Minds with GailNow, and it's a bit of a shift, but it's still talking about the power of curiosity. And it's also a kind of a combination, part of a passion project, because I really believe there's a lot of stories that and perspectives that aren't being told in our world right now. So I'm a big fan too. I started listening to Joe Rogan, and not that I'm saying mine's like Joe, but there's a lot of judgment about him. And I tell people, have you listened to some podcasts? Like, setting aside whatever your political view, go listen, because his podcast really is about curiosity. And he has people on, not everybody he agrees with, but there's a discussion. It's not an attack. And so my show, Curious Minds now, and the same thing with manufacturing, we have to get more of these discussions, whether it's about getting manufacturing. So but it also ties into decisions being made, whether we're talking about climate change, whether we're talking about EV, whether we're talking about, political perspectives. It does impact manufacturing. So for me, I'm now taking a bit of a different path, and my show is to get more people to kind of say, I hadn't thought of the world that way. I hadn't thought of this in that way. So
cool.
I'm kind of building this belief too, that we have too many extremes, and we need to kind of bring back some balance in our world, because I'm also a big fan of yoga, right? And yoga is all about balance. You have to kind of, because you can't just do, like, I do a lot of cycling. I can't only cycle. So I cycle, I do strength training, I do yoga, and anyway, so that's my little preaching point about the power of using video and live streaming to also change the world. And that's sort of my ideal. Back in journalism school, we had shirts made out to change the world on deadline. I felt that I wasn't able to do that in mainstream media. So now I'm doing it with Curious Minds.
What, just one person at a time, Gail.
Cool.
And
so much in there.
So much in there. And so our comments are coming through on here, but so Jim says, bravo, Gail. So we've got some great comments coming through on LinkedIn. So, okay. Oh my gosh. Nicole, question. Nicole, I think you interviewed, was it somebody important this week? I can't remember. Did you interview?
Yeah. Oh, I interviewed probably my biggest marketing idol, and he came on my podcast, and it was literally a dream come true for me to be able to interview him. His name is Marcus Sheridan, and his strategies that he experimented with at his own business, I was able to take to the company that I was working for many years ago and just completely, anyway, I'm rambling because it was just such an incredible experience.
You have his book right there?
Meet him. Whereas I was looking for it. It's called They Ask You Answer. Everyone should read this book.
Damon has it right on his home. Yeah, right.
And anyway, so I had a chance to, he came on the podcast, and I immediately, and it was just incredible experience. He was so generous with his time, and just, oh my, I'm speechless about it. And after the podcast, I got off and I had a meeting with Damon and Kurt, and I was just filled with immense gratitude, because there's no way in my mind I would have ever had him as a guest on my show had I not been on your live stream show a year and a half. There's just no way. I know it. So, like, to me, I'm just so incredibly grateful for the chance that I've had to get to know you guys, and for the opportunities that you've given to me, that you allowed me to come on your platform. And I just think about, like, all the other people out there who have been on your show that we don't even know about, that have been so positively impacted because of what you guys are doing and what you're bringing to this community. Like, I don't think you could fully realize it. I'm sure that they're, I mean, I know you hear some of it, Kurt, and people come and tell you, oh my gosh, that was so amazing. But like, the long-term downstream effect of what you guys have created here is just really, really special. It's really special. And I think that there's opportunity for other people out there who are listening to use Damon and Kurt and Gail as a great example of what you can create too for your business, wherever you're at, as a leader, wherever you're at. When you get your voice out there and you really, try to help people the way that Damon, Kurt, and Gail, you guys have done, the impact that you can have is just so remarkable. And so I'm just so filled with gratitude that, it's just kind of like come full circle. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for what you give and what you do. It really makes such a difference. And I know you may not see it now, but it does.
Right back at you, my friend. So all right, I know, like, we could go all day, and like, we're just flying right over time. So let's start winding down. And so I can say, so first off, for everybody in the audience, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know, Damon, I'm speaking for you. It's just such an honor, such a blessing. And like like, whether it's 5 people, 2 people, my mom and somebody else, and 100 other people, whatever. It's just like, having that impact, and Gail, you hit it on the head, the curiosity. Nicole, we use the line, how do we out teach competition? How do you out teach the competition? And so, like, our goal is like, man, we want to have a lot of fun. We call it edutainment a little bit, but but bottom line, like, we're just trying to learn. And we're like, if we can get other smart people to come on the program, because again, I won't speak for Damon, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but when we bring on smart people like Nicole and Gail, we can just, oh man. And I think Jan dropped a comment. So when you said, I want to change the world, Jan said, like, I'm just changing my little corner. So, like, if we can just change a little corner. And I'd say one thing that we always love to end the program on, we're not ending yet, so don't go anywhere, is, how can you be somebody's inspiration?
Yeah.
How can you just be somebody's inspiration? Man, was this so inspiring. All right, guys, let's wind down. Damon, I'm going to come to you, my friend. Father's Day weekend. I know, your father was a total hero. We lost Dad during COVID. Father's Day, what the best father's memory to you?
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. I've been trying to think of it, but you know, I think that just the lessons, even later in life too. That was the thing for me later in life too.
And, was it Mark Twain that said he left his home at 18? He came back at 21. He was like, I can't believe how smart my dad got in those 3 years. Right? Remember that story? So, Gail, I'm going to come to you, my friend. Father's Day weekend, best memory of dad. Anything that you want to share?
Well, mine is a bit of an interesting story. I'll keep it quick because I'm in riding as part of Ride Don't Hide. I also do work, excuse me, in the area of mental health from a marketing perspective. And growing up, I grew up in an alcoholic home. So here's the thing that I learned from my father is that, he did the best he could. And it was, I think there's no accidents in life. So because of the work I'm doing and have done in mental health, I've now learned that his drinking was really related. Very likely that was his way to medicate for mental health issues. Because in the end, he did take his life. But I don't want to end this on a negative. What I want to say, though, is that this is why I believe curiosity is so important, because as I've got older, I now take that page from Ted Lasso, be curious, not judgmental. So I learned a lot. My father instilled in me the love of reading. There was many positive things. I did a talk on my YouTube show where I talked about during a Robbie Burns talk. And so I wanted to bring up this story because, not everybody grew up with a wonderful, they are wonderful, that their father was amazing. But maybe if you can step back and say, take the best, leave the rest. And that's how I live my life right now. I focus on what is the best memories of my father. And so I will raise a glass of cheer to him now on Sunday. So.
Wow.
Awesome.
God. Gail, just when I don't think you can't exceed my expectations, you just go and smash them once again. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing. What a wonderful, beautiful, heartfelt story. God, you just totally moved me.
Well, support mental health too. That's the other thing. That's the other message too, is that wherever you are, make sure, because mental health encompasses addictions, it encompasses grief, it encompasses eating disorders. There's so many things. So support your local mental health association.
Definitely.
Great. All right, Gail, thank you. More strawberry rhubarb pie right there. So so much love for Gail. Nicole, can we do this?
Yes,
I know you lost dad during COVID. A fierce entrepreneur, built a manufacturer, built an amazing, incredible company.
Yes.
Really sad, lost dad during COVID. Your favorite memory of your father?
Yeah, well, first of all, Gail, I love everything you just said. I think a lot of us have really complicated relationships with our parents. I think that's, and I definitely did with my dad. He was a force. He was larger than life and an incredible person in a lot of ways, And I would say probably, but he was also a very type A person, very much so. Really, when you mentioned be curious, not judgmental. I love that so much. One of my favorite memories of my dad was when he came to visit, and I have many, 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 but he came to visit me. It must have been 5 years ago. And he was not a man who ever gave words of affirmation. He wasn't someone who would give a lot of praise, you did a great job. Awesome. He didn't say wowzers and cowzers, holy cowzers, like Kurt does. So, but he came to visit, and he went to the store one day, and he went to the grocery store. He just wanted to go to the grocery store. He came back from the store and he's like, Nicole, I got something for you. And I was like, oh, this is a little, okay. And he had gotten me this mug from the grocery store, and it said on the mug, "You are the best. I think you're amazing." And I remember it was just this very small, little thing. He'd picked it up and he had this big smile on his face.
Yep.
And it just melted I just gave him a big hug. And it was that really small little moment that I will always cherish, he just was over the moon about this little mug. And he's like, I just want you to know how much I love you. And that's a memory that will always just stick with me of him. Small, not anything big or fancy, but meant a lot to me.
Big, actually.
It was huge. And I know right over your shoulder, if you kind of go like this, Nicole, is the Music Man. And I think your father, Jim, used to play, then he used to play the lead in music, but he was a very theatrical, very gifted music.
He was
music. And so, thank you guys for sharing. My father, he's still my best friend. And when I was a kid, Damon, he would, the old, 12-hour days, 6 days a week, But man, when he came home at night, we were in the side yard playing catch. And, I'm 10 years old, just like pitching the confidence that he built in me. I'm throwing as hard as I can. And every night be like, man, I've got to get a sponge for this glove because you are throwing so hard, you're hurting my hand. I've got to get he had me so convinced that I'm throwing heat, I'm throwing
heat. Yeah.
And every day, man, we were out there. It didn't matter what the weather was, how tired he was. He was in the side yard. And I'm a baseball fanatic to this day. So, man, we're all blessed with just great. Thank you for sharing those stories to each of you. That meant so much. Guys, we're going to close it down.
Yep.
Thank you. Gail, thank you. You're such a blessing. You're such a dear friend. I'm embarrassed that we have not met in person. Could we please make that an absolute top priority?
I'm thinking Dave Chrysler, maybe when are you in Chicago? What's the date? Is that
Monday?
Monday.
I was going to say, too bad we could have ride shared down there, but I don't think next week.
We'll make it happen. But Gail, you've been a dear friend. You've been a huge advocate for from day You've been a huge advocate for our show. I cannot express my thanks, my gratitude, my love for you. You fill in as a guest, a host for us.
It's like awesome.
All the time. As a matter of fact, Gail, when you and I were hosting together, I just got an email this morning from Haley saying, hey, can you send me the download? Because I want to pull out a bunch of clips from that. And that was you and I on stage together. Nicole, thank you for joining us today. Deeply appreciate you. Nicole, you still there?
I'm here. Yeah.
Thank you for everything that you do. Damon, what was this? How was this for an episode?
It's a good one.
Live streaming it's live in.
So, we'll wind down because I know we could go all day. So, guys, thank you. Happy Father's Day weekend to everybody.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out. Damon, why don't you close us out like you always do, dude?
All right. Wow. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here today. Thank you, Gail. It's always a pleasure to have you on and co-hosting, and just appreciate the curiosity and, signing up, suiting up and showing up is such a great example for us all. Your journalism background, learn from it every time I get to be with you, listen to you. Just thanks so much. And Nicole, having you here, having you on the live streams with us is so much fun because you bring such a great vibe and emotion and just energy. I should say that, not emotion, but energy. And it's so much fun to have you around because you just, really know what you're doing as well too. It's fun. And Kurt, it's just, if people are wondering about live streaming, they should just try it. Because if Stadler and Waldorf can do it.
I had a in my hand earlier. I was going to text you to put you should have worn them.
If we can do it, anybody can.
That's
man.
That's right.
It's that. But I just want to say thanks, everyone, once again for showing up for us. We've had a couple technical difficulties. We haven't been able to see the comments for some reason, and it's been telling me, but this is live streaming, right? You're going to have problems. We just kept going with it, and the conversations were great. Thanks so much for everyone that was listening today. Thanks so much for the people that were commenting, and back again. And we will be back again next week with another guest. More shows. Next week's a big week. It's like how many shows are going on? It's like 4 or 5 shows next week we got going on. Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. Thanks, everyone. We'll be back. Have a great Father's Day weekend.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day, everybody.
You bet.